What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine. And as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career.
And this week, we are going to be talking about a very, very trade-oriented, business, entrepreneurial type of symptomatic condition.
Yep.
That maybe you're familiar with, maybe you're not, because I'm not. What are we talking about?
Burnout.
Burnout?
Burn out.
What do you mean, like, stoner, like...
Burn on, bro. No, burnout. It's when you work too hard and then you're just, like, exhausted and it takes a toll on your mental health.
It does?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
This actually is an intervention, Sean.
Oh, no. No. I'm not burnout, I don't think. But...
Burnout can be very hard to recognize within yourself sometimes. So,
because you might just be running on burnout for so long that
it becomes your norm, your baseline.
You get burnout blindness.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't realize how burnout you are until you take some time, I guess, until you get reinvigorated and you're like, oh, I was a little burnt out, maybe. Yeah. I was a little tired. I was running on fumes.
Exactly.
So, okay, it's exciting. Exciting stuff to talk about.
Topic, yeah.
I think it's very topical. I think, especially this time of year, it can be.
Yeah.
Especially for what we do, it's it's hot. It's like you've done a lot for the season already, but you still have a good amount to go. There's not like at least for us, we have like a little bit of a slower period in the winter. Mm-hmm. So, but that still seems really far away.
Yep.
The beginning of the year seems like an eternity ago.
Yes.
And here we are in the hot heat of summer.
The dog days of summer.
We might be currently on fire.
What?
From burnout.
Oh, right, yeah.
The burnout fire. So I think it's topical.
Yeah,
I think it's topical. I don't think that
we stay on
like
topical topics.
That's what we do. We're really good at that.
Yeah.
So I think maybe you seem to think I might be getting a little bit burnout.
I do, yeah.
You do?
I do think that.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Before we do that, let's talk about our drinks.
Yes.
And what do we have?
We should address the fact. Well, this week we're going to be drinking Red Bulls.
Yeah, and you're having coffee. Coffee and Red Bull.
I'm double downing on the caffeine this morning. We are recording this in the morning. Not at our normal time, so we can't drink alcohol.
Because I'm going away for the weekend. We'll see once we get into. You've done some research, so maybe me going away for the weekend is going to cure the burnout that I don't have.
Yeah.
And we should be good, but I think a good way to deal with burnout is to get all jacked up on energy drinks.
Exactly. Yeah. Caffeine is like notoriously good for burnout, anxiety, mental health. Yep.
Yep. So perfect. You must really want to get in a good mental state because you got the coffee and the Red Bull. Love that.
I have a full day of work ahead of me, so
cheers.
I'm trying to get jacked up. Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Love a Red Bull.
Oh, Red Bull's just so delicious. I
went strawberry apricot today, which delightful.
Yeah?
Really delightful.
It sounds like a great combo of flavors. But I go with the sugar-free, Trying to work on this bod.
I love a full sugar Red Bull. I cannot do sugar-free.
Yeah.
Also, back in my day when I worked at Red Bull, they insisted that they would never ever stray from just regular and sugar-free. They the Monster and all the other ones, they made like flavored ones, and Red Bull was like, no, we are loyalists to just the regular flavor, and now they make all these flavors. So I wonder what happened.
Yeah. Have they been like bought out by somebody, or are they still like their own? I feel like there's no beverage companies that are not part of like PepsiCo or Nestle or something like that. I
have not stayed up on the Red Bull news, but I would imagine that they have not been bought out.
Okay.
That they are still, Dietrich Mateschitz is still probably the man in charge.
Oh, sounds like a interesting man.
He's Austrian, and then there's a man who's like a silent partner who's Japanese, I believe.
Okay.
And they came up with it together.
He can't talk, or what?
Can't talk. Yeah, mute. He's a mute man.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
But well, Red Bull history for you.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of displays the importance of flexibility. Yeah. You want to be locked in on a vision, but then sometimes you got to stray from it because, hey, you're sitting here enjoying this beautiful flavor of Red Bull.
Yeah.
And thank God they made that.
True.
So.
True.
All right, let's get into the burnout topic. I'm going to let you lead the charge on this because you have done some research on it.
Yep.
You seem to think that I might be suffering. Maybe there's some symptoms here that I'm going to be able to identify with, and we'll get to the bottom of it because I do feel a little tired, running on fumes. A little exhausted, overwhelmed at times, which I think every business owner can relate with.
Yeah.
So,
and I think one thing to keep in mind is burnout. There's like when you don't like your job and there's burnout, and then there's like a different kind of burnout when you actually enjoy what you do. So I think that like for someone like you who genuinely enjoys what you do, it's hard to see the burnout within yourself because you're like, I like this. Why am I like tired? You know, like it's a different kind of self-reflection. So
that's interesting.
Something to think about.
Yeah, I could see how that could be. That could be an important distinction to make.
Yeah. So the WHO, the World Health Organization, has named burnout as officially a medical diagnosis. So
who?
This is big time. The World Health Organization.
Who?
The World Health.
Get it? Because it's WHO. Who? Okay.
Yeah. So it's a real thing. It's not just like, weak-minded people who are like, I don't want to work anymore. Like, it's a real thing. And
it is a real thing,
people should really take it seriously in yourself. Because if you're not working at your, like, top-tier mental state, then...
Yeah, then you might be under a false idea of productivity and...
Exactly. You're just
execution.
spinning your wheels.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, okay.
So just a little story time. When I worked in corporate America, it was... maybe my second job out of college, I guess. And I didn't really understand how the world worked and like how I had this vision that employers always look out for you. And that is not the case.
It's not?
So, no.
Okay.
So I was working like 12-hour days. The company that I worked for they worked quarterly. So we would have these really big crunch times at the end of each quarter, which happens to be the 4th of July and Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So... I was working just huge amounts of time, and I was in California when I wanted to be here with my family for those holidays. The 4th of July is like a huge deal in our hometown. So I was missing out on those things. I was working an insane amount. I thought that was just what you did. You hustled because I was young and I was trying to make a good impression. So I just did it. I did it and I didn't complain. And because I was doing that, they never looked to hire anybody else because they were like, well,
why would we?
She's doing it, so why are we gonna, and I never stood up for myself. So I was like, I would get sick, like physically ill, and it just kept happening. And I was like, what's going on? So I went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you're burnt out. You need to like stop working so much because you are burnt out. So
he gave you that medical diagnosis?
He gave me that medical diagnosis. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
when you think I'm burnt out, you're coming from...
I'm coming from a place of...
Is that something once you have it for life?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's fatal.
Oh, no. It's not contagious, is it? Did you get me burnout? Oh, God. God. Wow, that's pretty interesting. And you had like full-on physical symptoms of this burnout?
Yeah, and I felt like I wasn't... like I've always dealt with like anxiety, and I feel like it didn't really manifest in that way. It was like purely physical. I had no energy. Like before that, I was working out all the time. I would go to the gym all the time. And then during that period, when I got home, I didn't do a single thing other than like stare at a wall. And I just was like, oh, I'm just tired. I just worked a 12-hour day. That's just what you do. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really think about it, but then I just kept getting sick. And it was a total blind spot for me. I was just like, this is what people do. You work really hard when you're young, and that's just what you're supposed to do. That's what everyone tells you you're supposed to do. So I was like, these two things couldn't possibly go together. And then the doctor was like, yeah, your body is just under this constant state of stress. So your immune system is suppressed, and you're just getting sick because you're just running yourself into the ground. So
that's interesting.
So yeah, so that's my little story time. That's where I come from, and that's why I worry about burnout because
okay, wow,
it's
that really puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really You're trying to catch me on the early train of burnout before I get sick all the time.
Exactly.
Because we can't. Do you
We
think
can't
that's why I
afford-
got sick before?
Potentially.
Maybe it could have contributed to it.
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just it's serious, and I think that, and I feel like also I would always get sick when it was like the worst time. Like we would have these deadlines and I would get sick right before a deadline. So then I couldn't even take the time off. Like this was pre-COVID, so you could go to work sick and everyone would just be like, just stay over there. You know, it wasn't like now where they're like hazmat suits. But yeah, so then I would get sick right before these times. I would be so ill just like sitting in my little cubicle. I couldn't even take time off and it was just making it worse. So
That sounds so sad.
You know, I don't want you to just, you know, right before we have something really important, get really ill.
Yeah. Huh.
So.
Okay. Well, thank you for, telling us that story.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So basically, I'm an expert on burnout, and that's why I just want to talk about it today.
So what did your doctor say? He just said, like, he just gave you a doctor's note that was like, yeah, I have burnout. I'm not allowed to work anymore.
Yeah. I don't work here anymore. Sorry.
Yeah. But you can't fire me because I have a doctor's note.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did he give you any tips or?
Yeah. So basically, when you are suffering from burnout, unfortunately, there's no like magic pill that's like, here, now you're fixed. It's like most people can't like step back from work. Usually you've set up your life where you very much depend on working and having a job. So they always say like you need to go to a therapist and talk to them about it, or you need to figure out how you can take some time off, or you need to exercise and eat right. That's what they always say. Exercise and eat right, which whenever anybody would say that to me, I'd be like, oh, whatever, like, okay, like exercise and eat right. But that actually does make a huge difference. And it's just a good way to live your life anyway. So
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So we can talk about like
different techniques and
we'll get to that. But first, I think we should talk about how to identify it in yourself, because
am I going to need to try to identify
hard.
it right now? Yeah, I would say, so I never really thought about the word burnout before. I've heard of it, you hear stories of, usually it's like, people in startups and stuff like that where they're like literally working around the clock doing coding and like all kinds of stuff like that. And they're like literally just working all day long. So I never really equated my situation with that.
Yeah.
But there are so many times within the course of projects or the business in general where there's just an overwhelming amount of things that need to get done.
Yeah.
Number one, that's not my strong suit to like sift through all those things and accomplish them one at a time. So that can be problematic for me.
Yeah.
And then as the business owner, a lot of times you feel like, okay, all of this falls on me. So it's going to be hard to like the time that you're super busy and you're overwhelmed. It seems like the last thing that you could possibly do is take a break.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a catch-22.
It is.
You get stressed out and burn out when there's all this stuff and it's overwhelmingly busy and hectic, but it's hard to really, at that point, it's hard to kind of like step back. I feel like what I've done is just like powered through it and hope for calmer seas ahead.
Yeah.
And usually it is because everything comes in waves. So
yeah, usually it is cyclical. So and I think that that's the advantage of doing something that you do like, because you can look forward to that.
Yeah.
That time where, okay, I know things are going to get better. Things are hard right now, but they are going to get better. So in a situation like that, that's where like exercise, meditation, that really comes into play. So I'm sure meditation is probably, maybe not even realizing it, but it probably has helped you a lot.
I think so, yeah. I think it helps with that like chaotic thinking pattern that I have. Like it's not a cure-all for me. Like that's just how my brain works. I think very chaotically, so it's still hard for me to like go through a list of things that I need to do and just like get it out of my brain onto paper and then one at a time execute those things. So that can be really difficult for me. I feel like meditation does help calm that a little bit. It like takes that little bit of an edge off. So it's definitely not a cure-all, but I think it does, with consistency, help me just think a little slower about things and takes a little bit of an edge off. So I do think that has helped.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. And another thing is take like specific time for yourself. And it's easy, like for us, if you go home after work and you're like, okay, I'll work on these things. And then you're probably like, okay, once I'm done those things, I'll just, sit and watch TV for a little bit before I go to bed or whatever. That'll be my unwinding time. But it's so much, those things always kind of bleed into each other if you don't have like a specific time where you're like, okay, I am mindfully setting aside time for myself.
Yeah.
So I can actually disconnect instead of, I'll work for a little bit, then I'll just sit and watch TV for a little bit, but I'll probably still be thinking about all those things that I have to do.
Yeah.
So it's so important to just take that time. Like, not that I was feeling burnout, even though you insist that I was, but I took 2 days off the other day.
Yeah.
Because I've worked here for a year and I haven't really taken any substantial vacation. I think I've taken like one vacation day before.
Yeah.
And since I've worked here, you also haven't, I noticed you haven't taken a vacation. And I think that it's very important to like take some time off.
Take some time, yeah.
And it gives you something to look forward to. If you have a structured couple days off.
Yeah.
It gives you the time to disconnect, and it's just a max version of that, like setting aside time purposefully to disconnect.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I also look at some of the things that we do, like certain times of the year we have to travel a decent amount. Like we went to Deck Expo in November, then the International Builder Show in January, then the Decorators Pro Summit in February, then JLC in Rhode Island in March. So those are like work things, but they feel like a break from the day-to-day business stuff. So like I almost look at those as a vacation a little bit, but they probably aren't fully.
Yeah, no. You're still working.
They are.
You're still fully working the entire time.
Yeah. You're saying I need to like turn my brain off.
You need to turn your brain off.
Yeah.
You need to do something, and like I just did a staycation and I just didn't it was nice out, so I went outside and I did that kind of stuff. If you can't physically do that and you need to like remove yourself and go to a different space, then like, get an Airbnb where you can't think about that kind of stuff. So it's like a different, but those are work vacations. Like you're talking to people from work. You are still working. It's just adding like getting drinks in with coworkers. That's not a good way. That's not a vacation? That's not a vacation. It's fun.
Yeah.
And it is like a shakeup from like if you're feeling burnt out on like, oh my gosh, we're just like so hot on the job site every day. And then like those are like a shakeup from that kind of mindset. So it is good, but it's not a
full vacation.
Not a quite vacation.
Okay. These are all great points that you're making.
Do you feel attacked? I don't mean to attack you, but I do want you to take some days off.
You just want me out of your hair so you can actually get some work done because my chaotic mind is like bleeding all over everybody and it's just infecting the air, turning into an air of chaos.
Yeah.
I think that is a valid point. It just is hard to like step back, and when I feel like I said, I never really thought of it as burnout. It's just more like certain times are like more overwhelming than others.
Yeah.
So it's hard to, when you're in that time, to be able to step back. Do you think that there's a benefit of, like, it would be easiest to take some time off when everything's running smooth and I don't feel burnout at all? I'm just super excited. Do you think there's a benefit of like planning something when everything's going well to preemptively?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I took 2 days off, because I was like, I don't have a reason to take these days off. I just know that I haven't taken days off, so I'm going to give myself something to look forward to. Or if like right now you feel very stressed because we're in between two jobs and it feels like a lot of chaos, and kind of anti-directional where we're just kind of like spinning our wheels because we're working on a million different things. Now's the time to plan a vacation. So you're like, I can't go on a vacation right now.
Okay.
But I'm going to plan one, so I have something to look forward to. That's the light at the end of the tunnel. Give yourself something.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I just have to make it through this busy time, and then I will go.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
Also, I feel like it's really important to lead through action, and I think that it's really important that you insist that your employees take vacation time so they aren't burnt out.
Yeah.
So if you don't take a vacation, and then that kind of leads into the culture of the company. I mean, there's only 5 of us, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you don't take vacations, then it kind of sets the message that no one should take vacations.
I feel like everybody else does take vacations, though. Like, I guess you didn't.
Well, I'm talking
this year.
it like in a meta way for like the listeners as well. Not necessarily
that
quite
makes
you,
sense.
but
yeah.
I think that it all trickles down. If you see your boss not taking vacations and just muscling through burnout, then that sets the tone that that's how you should also do your actions. So just something to think about.
Do you feel like that bleeds onto you when I don't take off and I'm just like powering through things and I'm going through the van in a tornado of mental chaos? Do you feel like, oh God, if I take a vacation now, he's really going to go off the rails, and I need to help him with this ensuing burnout?
Not necessarily, because I know you as a person.
Yeah.
And I am also incredibly aware of burnout in myself now that I've gone through it. So I feel like I have a good handle on it myself. But like when you kept saying, like I took 2 days off and you kept saying, you're taking a vacation because you're burnt out. I'm like, it's not a vacation. We should not set the precedent that taking 2 days off is a vacation.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm burnt out. It's just because I haven't taken any
I just thought the timing was interesting, because you were like, next week we should talk about burnout, and I'm going to take 2 days off. So I was like, oh, maybe she's a little burnt out. You are absolutely.
I'm trying to avoid it.
You're preemptively. No, now I know that. Now I feel like I have the tools in my toolbox to identify and also take care of burnout symptoms within myself. So, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I don't know what to do about it yet. I guess plan a vacation.
Yeah. Maybe
I'll do that.
I think you should plan a vacation. It's also kind of like, it's a fun thing to do. It's like,
I don't know.
You don't like planning vacations?
I don't like planning. I feel like planning things is not something that I'm very good at, and I have to do it at work. So like the last thing that I want to do is like plan out all the logistics of doing a vacation. Like, how do we get there? How do we bring Max? Do we not bring Max? Do we have to find a babysitter? If we don't, we got to figure something out with Ziggy. Make sure that somebody's watching him, or we take him to the kennel. Travel, hotels. What are we gonna do when we get there? And it just, that seems like stressful. I feel like I need somewhere, like you said, like find an Airbnb that's like an hour away, and just like go there, and it's not near anything, and you just like don't do anything. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that.
I think you should do that.
Does that count?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Huh.
I love doing that. And I feel like we live in a great area where there's all sorts of different, we live near the beach and the mountains and woods, so you can do whatever within like a couple mile, a couple hour radius, and you just rent an Airbnb, and I personally always get one that's near water, and then we can go kayaking or do whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe, well, I mean, you and Sarah like to hike, so go find one in the middle of the woods and go for some hikes.
That sounds nice. Okay.
And lucky for you, you might not like to plan vacations, but I know you have a wife who loves to plan vacations and go on vacations, so
That's true. Yeah.
You can delegate that to her.
Okay. Okay. That sounds like a nice way to go about it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna store that little nugget away and see what I can do about that. I'll update people on it, and because I think it is really important, and I just feel like I'm at an age where I do have that mentality of I'm so young, even though I'm getting kind of old.
Yeah.
I got all this gray hair. That it is like the time to just like hustle, and like this is the time to like lay the foundation for what you're trying to build with your business and your life and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it's like it's a cultural thing a little bit, a society type of expectation that's thrown upon us. You think so? Especially now with this like hustle culture and side hustles and...
Absolutely. And I think that if you have the mindset of there's always something, like I know that when we talk about like business stuff, it's always like there's something else we could be doing. The world is endless with opportunities. So it feels like if you're not constantly reaching for these opportunities, then you're like failing in some sort of sense.
Yeah.
So I think that you just need to, it's like a work hard, play hard situation. Like make sure that you take purposeful time away from work so you do feel rejuvenated to work really hard when you do go back to work.
I feel like I went into this episode not thinking, I just thought I was going to disagree with you and say, I'm not burnt out at all. I don't need to take vacations. Vacations are for the weak-minded. But I'm starting to see a little value in, I never really thought about just, even though you took, did a weekend in, like, Maryland, just in an Airbnb, and I'm like, oh, that seems kind of random. Like, you're just staying at a house that's not your house, somewhere else.
Yeah.
But now that you explain it like that, it seems really nice to just, like, remove yourself physically from your day-to-day, like, your house, and just go to somebody else's house and stay there. And, because I always look at vacations like it has to be, like, this big to-do. Like, you have to go somewhere that's, like, exciting and has to be, like, activities. But that sounds great, to just go somewhere and kind of, like, purposely go somewhere where there's not really much to do.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
It does sound great.
I should probably go somewhere with no cell reception. I think that would
I think that's what you need.
really help me a lot. So
that's exactly it. Yeah. And I feel like my staycation days were great. Excuse me, I had a great time, but I also feel like it's very hard to disconnect when you're in your own home because there's a million things. Like, as I was home on my vacation days, I was thinking, like, oh, I should fix this. There's a million things in my house that need to be fixed. So I'm like, oh, I should fix that. I should do this. I should paint that. Or I'm on the board, so I'm like, I should do my board minutes, or I should do, like, plan a fundraiser. Like, if you're in your own house, there's just constantly things that you need to do. So if you just take yourself out of the situation, there's suddenly a whole lot less on your plate. And the no cell thing, that's like...
I think that would be, like, key for me.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely, because that is so... Like, that is the thing that more than anything, like, keeps my mind on work. It's either talking to clients, answering emails. There's always, like, emails that I need to send out about supplies or to a vendor or the architect or just a million different things that need to be planned. And then that doesn't even include all of the social media stuff that is not only a huge part of our job, but it's also just like a huge addiction of everybody. Yeah. So there can be like a huge like gray area of like, am I working? Like social media to me, like for some people, they can just like go on TikTok and like scroll, and that's like almost relaxing for them. Like Sarah does it all the time. She's like, I just enjoy it. Like I'm just on here looking at, silly videos, and it makes me laugh. Anytime I'm on social media, it's like I'm just thinking about what videos we should make, looking at other videos like, why is this video doing so good? So, maybe put the phone, maybe destroy it.
Just put it in a wood chipper.
Yeah. You know what I need, I think? Back to the personal assistant thing. I don't even have a phone. You want to get in touch with me? You call Jerry. You call Jerry.
That's interesting.
Jerry sifts through everything. I don't even have a phone. It's kind of like the kingpin. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need to hire a Jerry.
We do. I need to be like insulated, where nobody can get in contact. I only talk with Jerry. You need to talk to me. You talk to Jerry.
Or Anthony.
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. It will take some time to like integrate Jerry into the where he can really handle everything. But
Jerry's just gonna be a shell of a human. He's gonna have no opinions. It's just you.
He's just an intermediary. Yeah. It's an interesting concept. It is.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Where do we find ourselves a Jerry? I need a Jerry. Okay. All right. Well, are you burnout on burnout?
No.
Oh, you're not? Oh, you have more stuff?
I got so much stuff.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
Okay. So, like we talked about, it's hard to kind of identify it in yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just don't know why you feel that way. So we should talk about causes.
Okay.
What causes burnout? Because I think it's easy to be like, oh, well, that's only for people who are working, like business owners and, but it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
I was a lowly little first-year employee, and I had it. So causes, an extreme or heavy workload. And I think that's a good thing to realize. At least it was for me, that like just because someone like gives you this duty,
Yeah.
you don't have to take everything on all the time. And that's going to lead to like, and I feel like it's a balance, because I do think people should say yes to different opportunities and taking on more work. But if it's going to lead to burnout and you're just overwhelming yourself.
Yeah.
So actually, now that I'm saying it, how do you find that balance?
Like if somebody, like your boss, just keeps pouring stuff onto you and you just keep doing it and not complaining, then even if it's like way too much for one person to actually handle, they're not going to like go hire anybody, because they're like, well, Catherine's got it.
Yeah.
She can handle this.
Actually, maybe that's the line, because in my case, it was just more of what I was doing. Like I was doing the job of like 3 people.
Yeah.
But it wasn't leading to any new opportunities.
Were you getting paid 3 salaries?
I was not, no.
You should have been. You should have
I was
said
being paid a very low salary.
Yeah.
They were getting a bargain.
Yeah. And I think it is like, it's different opportunities are going to like, or each job or whatever you're doing is going to be a little bit different. Like depending on the company that you work for, a company might look at that and be like, oh, this is awesome. You know, we're saving all this money and we might grind Catherine into the ground, but we'll find another Catherine.
Right.
There could be other opportunities where, you know, a company really values that hard work and they look at that like, okay, Catherine can really handle all of this stuff. Like she's doing so good, but we can find somebody else to do what she's doing now. Let's put her in like a more important role.
Yeah.
So it can, I think, be situational where you have to evaluate like, okay, is the company like looking out for my best interest? Am I getting anywhere with this extra work, or am I just getting closer to burnout and then, you know, they will not have a use for me anymore and I will be out on the streets?
Yeah. That's a great point. Definitely look at like how, like where the value is for your company. And that's another one of the causes is a toxic workplace. So I would say I was 100% in a toxic workplace.
Here?
No. Great workplace now.
Okay.
Before.
Yeah.
That was definitely, because it wasn't advancing my career.
Yeah.
I mean, I did use them for like a recommendation in future jobs, and they always spoke very highly of me, which was nice. But
yeah,
I think standing up for yourself is very important.
It also sounds like
I learned later in life.
Yeah, but it does sound like it. Everything's a journey, and that was like an important part.
Absolutely,
you know, you had to go through that to get to the point now where you can recognize these symptoms in me.
True.
You're doing God's work out here. You're saving people from burnout before they really hit the wall and get reduced to a pile of burnout ashes.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's, everyone should just come to me. I will give you a consultation and tell you if you're burnout or not, because I am an expert.
That actually honestly sounds like it could be like a really lucrative, like, that seems like such a millennial profession to have. Like, I'm a burnout counselor. Burnout, you call me.
You call me.
Yep.
I'll tell you how to handle it.
We'll set up like a little retreat for you. 3 days, we'll get you back up and running.
Maybe that's my hustle culture. This is my 10X.
I think, honestly, that would be like so good. You like, people are like super burnout, but then like, then you really won't like be helping people anymore because you'll get all about the money.
Yeah.
Then you'll get burnout.
Then I get burnt out on my hustle.
Yeah. And you'll be like, I think that would be a really good thing. You get these like millennials that are burnout, like, finance people and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're like, look, I have the cure for you. I'm going to set you up on this 3-day retreat. You're going to be cured. You go back to work in 12 hours a day and you'll be good to go.
Okay. All right.
That would be pretty cool. Something to think about.
Yeah. I really like my job now, and that sounds very time consuming, but it is something to think about. If you if you ever fire me, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Okay. Nice. Well, you might have a future client in me. Because if you leave this company, I will severely be burnt out.
Okay, so next, a stressful or distressing line of work. So I guess that's like doctors and nurses and stuff. Which, man, I don't know how they do it.
That is true, because they're like, that is pretty crazy. And it should be noted that I'm going away this weekend to stay with Sarah's best friend, who is a ER doctor. What?
You said Sarah's best friend. She's my best friend, too.
Oh, okay. It's not a competition.
It is.
Okay, Sarah and Catherine's other best friend. We're going to stay with her, and she is an ER doctor.
Yeah.
And her husband is an orthopedic surgeon, and it just seems insane to me that they are like the amount of work that they have to put in the shifts that they go on, and then at the end of those shifts, they may or may not have to make like life or death decisions on people.
Yeah.
Like, how is that a thing?
I know.
Plus,
They'll just make a decision.
Plus, she's pregnant right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you go to work and do this? It's insane.
Yeah. Now they don't live here anymore, but when they did, she would like, we'd hang out right after she got off work, and she's like, yeah, this guy died or whatever. And like, it's just like a part of her work. And then I'm like, do you need to like decompress from that? No, it's like these things happen. And like, I guess she's just desensitized to it. But I'm like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, how do you deal with that? That's crazy.
Yeah. You made her sound a little bit like heartless and soulless.
No. She's not heartless,
Yeah.
but that's just part of your day-to-day job.
It is, yeah.
And like, they do this, they make all these harsh, and she's an ER doctor, so she's like,
yeah, she's on the front lines.
she's like on the front lines of like all of seeing the craziest stuff. She has the craziest stories.
Yeah.
And then you just clock out, and then you go home and you just
Yeah.
live a normal life. So she's not heartless. She's very caring and
Yeah,
a
she
wonderful
is.
doctor. She's
She
an
is.
amazing person. But it's like you just,
Yeah.
just like we, clock out and go home. They do that too, but they
Yeah.
just had a way crazier day. I feel like that's always like a linchpin of my mental energy is like, I'm not saving lives. The thing, the stuff that I do isn't life or death. I don't have to make life or death decisions. Oh no, do I?
I don't know. I think, without the proper relaxation area in someone's home, outside their home, I went real like Philly on that home.
Yeah, you did.
They could die of burnout. We're
true.
building burnout sanctuaries.
We are building burnout sanctuaries.
It's a good way to market
That is.
these.
That is a great way to look at it.
Wow.
Huh.
Interesting.
Add that to the marketing plan. Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
One thing that I do want to say about burnout is the thing that burns me out the most is like the mental load that I carry. And one thing that has definitely helped me, you're doing the editing on the vlog.
Yeah.
Having that off my plate
Yeah. I meant to
has
ask you.
very significantly reduced my level of stress. It doesn't
You
seem
think?
like that this week because there's just so much other chaotic, stressful stuff going on. But I can't imagine if I also had to do that. Like this week, Tom was on vacation. We had to go back to our other job because we're doing all the pavers. So it was just me, Aunt, and Jose. So I was like belt on all week. It was still like super chaotic. So it might not have seemed like it had relieved any stress from me, but I can't imagine if that was added to my plate on top of that. So, that has helped significantly. So thank you
You are
for
welcome.
contributing to my burnout relief plan.
Yeah.
BRP.
That's a great way to also deal with burnout is
Delegate?
delegation.
Yeah, that is true.
So I'm glad I can help.
Thank you so much for that. All right, so do you have any other stuff here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just a couple other causes. Pretty self-explanatory, but no recognition from management. So if you're working your tail off and then like no one's telling you you're doing a good job, that's like frustrating.
Yeah. Do I tell? I mean, I just told you.
You
that
literally
you're doing
just told me to do a good job. Yeah.
But do you think in general that I heap praise upon people adequately enough?
Yeah, I do.
Just say like, hey, you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
I always want to make sure that that I'm acknowledging people's hard work and everything like that. So I try to be mindful of that. And okay.
Yeah, I think that you do that well.
Okay.
I think that's
Thank
an
you.
important thing, and you do that
Yeah.
well.
Okay. Because I think some people are very quick to criticize people. That's like something that some bosses do is the only time like you hear something from them is some sort of critique or critical thought.
Yeah.
Instead of like them going out of their way to say, hey, you're just doing a great job. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. You know?
Yeah.
And I think the more that you do that, the more open they might be to the occasional criticism that you do have. And not even criticism, but, just feedback or constructive criticism. If it's always that negative, criticizing or pointing out something that they did wrong, then they're just not going to take it as seriously, or it's just going to like wear them down. So I think you need to go out of your way to make sure that you are saying good job to people and that you appreciate their hard work and all that stuff, especially in the businesses that we have in the trades. Like, it's hard work. Yeah. So it's not only that they're doing a good job, but they're also physically working hard. So I think that needs to be appreciated.
That's so true. And especially in the trades, people are having such hard time trade people having a hard time finding employees and hiring like long-lasting employees. If you want your employees to stay, make sure that you balance the praise and criticism.
Yeah. And know that a lot of times they have other opportunities. Like, you're not like this gracious gift from God that is, gracing them with a job. Yeah. You have to realize that especially the really good people, like, they could leave tomorrow and find a comparable job. So true. You want to make sure that you make that as difficult as possible for them by not making it hard for them to leave and trapping them like demonized rats, but by...
You get them and then you sink your claws into them and they stay forever.
Yep. But by providing the best work environment that you can so that it'll be hard for them to find something that is as good, or they don't want to look for something that's different. So something to think about. So I do appreciate you bringing up the, we don't want to create a culture here where people think that they can't take off or that they have to. So just because that is kind of been my mindset of personal life doings, I hope nobody else feels like that. And but it's good to be mindful of it.
Yes.
Not something that I was mindful of at all. I feel like everybody else like just kind of like they like have planned vacations. Ant, it's like every year this week he goes to the beach. Yeah. So Tom does that too a little bit. I think I don't have anything like that. That's like a set thing. So I guess I just never go out of my way to plan anything. And but it's good to be mindful of that. So I do appreciate that feedback.
And I think like you and Anthony and Tom, you all have kids. So like Anthony taking a family vacation is, that's great, but maybe it feels like a lot of work because you're still, trying to make sure that your kid has this amazing vacation. So I think that we should still make them feel like take a day off if you need it. Like just take a mental health day. If you feel burnt out, take a day. Like, that doesn't have to be your only time off. Yeah. Because, and like Tom is taking his kids to Disney World at some point.
Horrible.
That sounds like so like, and I was a kid who went to Disney World and I loved it and it felt absolutely magical to me. But as a parent, I'm sure it just feels like work. Just in the heat.
He seems like he loves like the act of like chasing his kids around. Yeah. He seems like he loves that.
I haven't talked to him about it, so maybe he's. Yeah. And I'm sure he's like thrilled and looking forward to it. I'm not saying that he's not, but it does seem like it.
It's not like a lot of work. It's not a relaxing vacation. Yes,
it's not like a relaxing time off, turn your brain off kind of situation. Yeah. And that's like with this weekend, I'm sure that you're gonna have a lovely time. Yeah. But it's still not like a vacation because you're still like. Yeah. Max is going with you, so you have to worry about like getting all of his stuff there, and then it's gonna be chasing him around a new space, and it's not, it's not like a necessarily relaxing, just turn your brain off kind of time. Yeah,
that's true. So I'm going to try my best. Do you think I should tell Sarah when I'm up there, like she wants me to do it? Sorry, hon, I'm on vacation. I can't be bothered.
You should try it. When I took my 2 days off, every time Pat asked me to do anything, I said, I'm on vacation. So you want your laundry done? Sorry, I'm on vacation. Yeah. It might look like I'm just sitting in my house, but I'm on vacation. Yeah. So maybe
You're doing
try
important mental work. I'm going to try it, and I'm going to say that it came directly from you. It's an order from you to. I can't do nothing. Sorry. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll think about that. Luckily, Max is like so easy to take care of. He's just like the most amazing little angel boy.
He is. That's
so,
true.
He's not very fussy.
Right, but he's still mobile, so you're still going to be like...
Yeah.
He's right at that very special age where he's like mobile and can get into everything, but he can't like...
Understand that like,
you can't be like,
no good.
hey, Max, you can't touch that very sharp thing. He'll be like, I don't understand what you're saying. You know, like...
Yeah.
He's mobile. He can get that sharp thing, but he doesn't understand that he shouldn't touch that sharp thing. So.
Oh, God, yeah. And now I'm thinking we're going to a place that's not going to be baby-proofed or...
Exactly.
So stressful. No, but yeah, okay.
I don't mean to stress you out about your relaxing vacation.
Okay, well, I think that is... Do you have any other things? I had one thought that I wanted to add. All this talk about it, I think I was mentally like blocking out any type of information I was getting about burnout because I was just like, this doesn't apply to me.
Right.
Don't need to pay attention to this. But it is brought up in a lot of books that I've read and stuff like that. So one story that comes to mind is, what's her name? Ariana Huffington?
Yes.
Is that her name?
Mm-hmm. Huffington Post?
Yeah. I'm not totally exactly sure like what that is. Is that just like a website? Blog? Is it a newspaper? I don't know what it is. But she's a very powerful businesswoman.
Yeah.
Very
I don't think
powerful.
it's like a paper newspaper. It's like a
internet post.
It's like a
Okay. It's like probably like a media company of some sort.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Interesting. Okay. But I know like of her and she's a very like powerful, successful woman and she says that she was like so severely burnt out, like crippling burnout, like could not get out of bed because she was just like working herself to the bone.
Yeah.
And the thing that she contributed
I'm having trouble talking today.
Contributed to it
there you go.
Was try to say contributed
to it.
Yeah, okay.
Contributed to it.
Talk words hard sometimes.
hard.
Was a lack of sleep, like really good sleep.
Yeah.
So I think she might have wrote a book about it as well.
Now that you're saying this, that does sound familiar.
So it can be like sometimes you can point out these things that if you get a handle on that, like it's not always your burnout. You need a vacation, and then you go back to your day to day because like you're just building up the burnout more. Mm-hmm. I think the best thing. Not taking anything away from vacations. Vacations are a great tool to use here.
Right.
But sometimes you need to identify those things in your daily life that are contributing to your burnout. So it could be a lack of really good deep sleep.
True.
It could be a lack of, proper nutrients in your diet from not eating healthy.
Yeah.
It could be from not exercising. And all of those things kind of go hand in hand because when you're really busy, you don't have time to like meal prep and think about what is a healthy option right now. True. You feel like you don't have time to exercise, and you definitely feel like sleep is the worst thing that you could possibly do. I always feel like that. Like, sleep is just a waste of time. So I always have to like remind myself that it is an important thing, and the more good sleep that you get, the more productive you are during the day.
Yeah.
So something to think about. If you can identify these things in your life that are out of whack, get a handle on those things, you might get a handle on your burnout. Still take that vacation because, hey, what are we working so hard for? What are we working so hard for if we can't take a vacation?
Enjoy your life while you're alive.
This feels like a very transformative episode for me. I feel like from start to finish, I feel like a new person.
You think?
I think, yeah.
You didn't, I didn't come at you too hard. Did you feel attacked in this intervention?
I felt attacked before it. I felt the most attacked just by the fact that you kept insisting on the topic of burnout. You're like, I think it's very topical right now. I'm like, why? Why is it I don't understand. I'm not burnout. So I don't think that I am fully burnout, but I am definitely exhibiting some of those symptoms. So better to get a handle on it now before I am...
bedridden like Ariana Huffington.
Yeah, but it's also a good comeback story.
That's true.
I do need some sort
of redemption story.
Yeah,
some sort of hill to overcome.
Something to think about there.
Okay.
Okay, well that's great. I think I'm pretty I'm pretty burnout. I think
On the topic of burnout?
on the topic of burnout, do you
Okay.
think we should skip this secret question?
Never. Why? You didn't think of one?
No, I thought of one. Okay. Well, you got one?
Yeah, you got one?
No, I don't have one. I did think of one, but I kind of forgot a little bit. You go first. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What was the biggest lie you've ever told?
Ooh, wow. Really hard hitting. I don't know. I feel like I'm not a big liar typically, but I am a huge fibber. So I'm very like sarcastic, and so that leads a lot of people sometimes to think like they never know when to believe me or not. But
Yeah.
anytime I do lie, like in that scenario, I'll be like, no, I'm just kidding. But it's fun to like fib, get
Yeah.
somebody to believe you, and then be like, no, I was just kidding. But an actual big lie, that's really tough. I feel like the only thing that's coming to mind right now is the fact that early on in business, people would say, hey, Sean, do you know how to do this? Can you handle that?
Yeah.
And I'd say, yeah, of course, that's no problem. So that also feels like a little bit of a fib, not a
Yeah.
lie, because
Because you just didn't know how to do it yet.
bingo, exactly. So I was definitely going to learn, and I had every intention of fully researching it, getting into it, doing it properly, all that kind of stuff. But initially, you got to fake it till you make it a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to overcome those challenges, and you got to present the fact that you can do it with confidence. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that comes to mind.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's your answer to that? What's the biggest lie that you've ever told?
Oh gosh. Mine was pretty much the exact same thing. I was gonna say, like, in a job interview where they're like, "Are you proficient at Excel?" I was like, "Yeah, yes, ma'am, I am." And then I'd go home and Google it.
Yeah, that's a
But,
good way to go about it.
Yeah. That, to me, that's like an innocent lie because like I said, like, you just don't know how to do it yet.
Yeah.
I'm not incapable of learning how to do Excel at the time.
You didn't
So-
excel at it yet, but
I
you
didn't excel at it
believe
yet.
that you could.
Yeah. And now I can. Well,
Yeah.
I haven't used Excel in a long time.
But you're using
Since
that
this
Google
job?
Sheets.
Yeah. That did help.
I don't know what kind
So-
of witchcraft you were doing on there, but I was impressed. I was
Yeah.
definitely impressed by that. So
Thank you. So yeah.
that was one of the best lies you could have told, because it forced you into learning how to do these things.
Exactly. It
So-
really turned a negative into a positive.
Yeah, a
And then
little
I
flip
just-
the script situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's always good to. Yeah, you got to fake it till you make it a little bit,
Yeah.
but make sure that you do make it and you're not just completely faking it. Mm-hmm. Find that balance. Okay.
Yep. All right. What's your secret question?
My secret question. This is a bit of a silly one.
Okay.
And Sarah asked me this morning as I was putting my socks and shoes on.
Okay.
She was like, oh, so you're a sock, shoe kind of person.
Oh.
And I was like, what? Like, obviously the alternative would be,
Sock shoe.
yeah. And I was like,
is she a sock shoe?
she's not, thank
Okay.
God, because that could have been a deal breaker. Like, that just seems like psychotic behavior. But, okay, how do you go about this?
Sock, shoe.
Yeah. I feel like,
I feel like that's the only way to do it.
yeah, it never even crossed my mind that a psychopath would behave in that manner. Do one sock, one shoe, one sock,
Yeah.
one shoe.
Can you imagine the feeling of like having one sock and one boot like on and your other foot just
Free floating.
Free.
No.
free out there in the air? That seems,
Yeah.
I could never.
No.
Never.
Okay, so since that was such a silly quick one,
Mm-hmm.
and I have already given my answer, I'll give you one more that is similar to that.
Okay.
When you're brushing your teeth,
Uh-huh.
you doing hot or cold water?
Have we talked about this before?
I don't know. I feel like we have,
Okay.
but I don't think on here.
I feel like, so I usually brush my teeth right after I wash my face with warm water. So then sometimes I just go straight into brushing my teeth. Sometimes water's a bit hot. When I'm doing that,
Yeah.
Pat is like appalled at that. He thinks that it's like
I'm
psychotic
also, I'm also
behavior.
appalled by that. Yeah.
But it seems like a waste of time to like switch the temperature of the water. I'm not that attached to the temperature of the water at that time.
Yeah, I think that is psychotic behavior.
Yeah.
I think so,
bit?
yeah.
Okay.
That's another thing, it reminded me, because it's another thing that I hadn't even considered the possibility of until, I don't know, I think Sarah brought it up. And I forget which way she goes on that. But I just never even considered the fact of doing warm water when you're brushing your teeth. That just sounds, it just sounds reprehensible.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm not going to change my behavior, but...
okay, one more follow-up question. Okay. Do you, are you doing water on the brush, then toothpaste, then brush?
Every time, yeah.
Okay, because that's another psychotic behavior. You know that, right?
Just toothpaste on the
dry
brush, and then in your mouth?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
That's horrible.
Jail, straight to jail.
Straight to jail for that.
Jail. I don't like that at all.
Okay, well, I'm glad we got all of those things figured out.
Another just topical topic.
Yeah, it is. It's top of mind, top of tooth. Okay,
all right.
So,
well, Sean, enjoy your day off. Well, I mean, it's not really even a day off because you're working right now.
Yeah.
But you're about to be off, so enjoy your weekend away.
Thank you so much.
Tell our doctor friends I said hello.
I will, and
that they
you
should
also
take breaks too.
Enjoy your weekend, and
Thank you.
I hope everyone out there enjoys their week. Think about what we said, see if it applies to you, and I'll keep you updated on what I'm doing to keep this at bay.
Yes.
So until next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.